Hello there, ladies, gentlemen and unicorns. It is I, your favorite stream. Of course not. Thank you so much for dropping by on this Sunday as well. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. I at least see myself there in the preview monitor, and there's even some music, but this is not the music that I wanted to start with. This is more laid back and chill music I want to have in the background, at least for the start. As always, I'm trying to make things a little bit more fun, especially when I'm not talking much, that it's not dead silence and maybe all you hear is the neighbors screaming outside. So Frank says it all works and it's just my hair. Oh dear. Is my hair jagged? Is there anti-aliasing going on? Any kind of NVIDIA Hairworks artifacts going on? I hope not. Either way, maybe next time I will settle for a polygon hairdo, something that you would snap on onto your Lego figurines. So maybe this is the hairstyle that I will go next for. So this was a lot of work. So yeah, thank you so much for appreciating. I'm not quite sure if this was the topic in the chat, but either way, I just hijack it and say, yeah, everything is about my hair as always, because maybe I will do a pompadour, who knows? Well, we will see what the future holds. Speaking of the future, did you know that in 2 weeks, around this time, we'll be crazy crunching for our Ludum Dare 46? Is it already 46 or is it 47? I actually have to check. I think it's 47, right? So yeah, the next Ludum Dare is almost there, and this time I thought maybe I should prepare a little more than usual. So yeah, this is what this stream is going to be about, trying to get a little bit more organized, or what I'll be doing, setting up folders and also setting up let's say frameworks or just scaffoldings of projects that maybe this time I won't be doing the same thing, reinventing the wheel again and again. Frank says, I need to remember to take the Friday and the Monday off. This is good because this is what I did half a year ago. And I thought because the week thereafter they want at work to switch my shift. Usually I work night shifts and they want to switch me to day shift right after Ludum Dare. So it's going to be interesting because they won't let me have another holiday or vacation day. So we will see how this goes. But yeah, this doesn't pertain any of you, because this is what my poor colleagues at work have to deal with me when I'm at 9 in the morning there and completely lost, because I don't know if you've noticed it, but on before noon the sun comes from the wrong side of the sky. It's really weird. I rarely see this because usually I wake up at 2 in the afternoon and I go to sleep shortly after the sun has risen. So it's very weird. The sun is coming from the wrong side. People are up and chipper, and it's a weird atmosphere. I don't know how to describe it. So yeah, this will be the week for me. After Ludum Dare, the weirdness will just continue. Oh, Red Hermit is here. No problem for being late. After all, you're still number one for gifting subscriptions and yeah, just being an overall awesome person there in the community. So no worries about being late. Usually people can count on me having some sort of technical difficulties, and we almost made it without any today. Again, the microphone wasn't working, but the good thing is I just went over to OBS, and this time I could see the driver there, the device ID, and selected it, and look at this, it works. And because I was smart this time and connected it up not to my USB hub but to a separate USB 3 cable, there also hopefully won't be any humming because I'm charging my phone on. Never mind, I'm not charging it, I just realized. So, yeah, whatever. And the other good thing about today is, in terms of technical difficulties, is that for some reason everything seemed to be working right apart from the microphone as I plugged them in. So I don't know why, but usually if your computer is giving you concessions like this on one hand, there's something there, probably it will hit me in the back of the head in some other ways, because yeah, let's face it, there's always a lot that could be wrong. By the way, I've also noticed the last week, maybe some of you were having issues with the stream, or maybe my stream was being encoded choppily. Turns out I realized after the stream was over, I was still encoding MP4s from my recent gameplay. I think it was State of Decay that I had been playing. And usually for me it works like this. I play a game and record it in uncompressed, well, not lossless compressed. And the files are just like huge. It's like 150 gigabytes for half an hour of gaming. So I crunch these to a wonderfully perfect, pristine MP4 files that are encoded lossy. But with all the processing power that I have, it takes like a day to encode 1 hour of footage. But it almost looks like it's uncompressed, and this is what I really like. And so yeah, I just forgot that FFmpeg was still running in 2 command line windows on in the background. So there's that. Tudvar is also here. Welcome. Thank you so much. This is nice. 12 viewers. Oh my god. Apparently I'm doing social media right this time. I mean, we got 12 viewers. Next time we almost can fill a football team with the number of participants that we have. Okay, there's just one more thing that I want not to be left out, because last time I completely forgot about it. We were talking about Red Hermit's generosity just before, and 2 weeks, was it 2 weeks ago? I was celebrating my birthday here on this stream, and Red Hermit was running a quiz, and he even gave out prizes in the form of Steam codes. Yes, very generous, and there are a number of codes that had been donated to Sorceress, who won some of the quiz prizes because she answered the questions about yours truly correctly. So I still got 3 Steam keys just to give away, and I don't know how to handle this giveaway. Probably it's just the first to claim one of those prizes. Yeah, just go for it. But as always, if you're not planning to redeem the codes, where you just putting onto your pile of shame, of course it would be better if someone who's really looking forward to playing a certain game receives the code. With that being said, let's have a look at the chat. And Lepton is here, and this is a silent J, but an invisible E, I think, in your username again. And H. Mortensen is also here. What settings do you use for MP4 encoding? I will get to this in a bit. And Rosras says, can you restrict FFmpeg to only use certain cores, if I recall correctly? Yes, you can. I never do it because usually when I want to save some processing power, I just set the chip affinity in my, the task manager, just for a couple of hours or whatever I need the processing power in any program anywhere else, because I want to have all my 24 cores working on my encodings. And RNG 2000 says Frank, and you know what, I could do this with the RNG 2000, but again, maybe someone who doesn't really need the key will receive it. So I think it might be more wholesome, is that the right word? I think it would be just nicer if those people who really want a certain thing can request it, in a sense. Okay, for which games are the codes? Yeah, I completely forgot to mention this. So we got one code for We the Revolution. Maybe I should put this on screen. Let me switch over. Yeah, I switched over to the same scene. This is beginner's mistake. Hello, it's me, your dumbass on duty. There we go. So let's find a Firefox. There we go. Steam, We the Revolution. Look at this, even without typos this time. So this is We the Revolution. It's, as far as I recall, why aren't there any pictures? Is this a graphic novel or more of a strategy or a tactics game? I think it's a strategy game, but look at this. I really like the style of this. It's presented very well. I haven't looked much into it, but if this is your sort of thing, yeah, please let me know. The other games that we have are the well-known, probably the PC Building Simulator. This is a good one. PC Building Simulator crack. No, we don't need the crack. But thank you, Google, for baiting me into something illegal there on my stream. So yeah, the PC Building Simulator. It's one of those wonderful games that are titled with just what they are. It's like the early Atari games, which are just called Golf or Space War or Asteroids. So yeah, this would be the PC building simulator. I've noted the last time. I just love the idea because you already got pretty much anything in your target group. Or in other ways, anyone you want to sell this already has an interest, because the chances are good that they themselves build their PCs or are at least interested in what the current technology is. And Frank says, if your fingers don't get cut, it's not a proper simulation. Yeah, that's true. Maybe we need some kind of, if you slip with your, that's not a screwdriver, there it is. If you slip with your screwdriver and then just get across or make a short on some, just connections there, and you've essentially just demolished a €300 or even worse, even a more expensive graphics card. I think sometimes once this happened to me, thankfully 20 years or so ago, where I was just screwing something in there and then I slipped and the tip of the screwdriver went straight across the motherboard, and not just by a little, but really hard, and severed some lines and connections there. So yeah, I mean, if you are well versed with electronics, just do it yourself stuff, as some of my trusty viewers are. I'm looking at you, Sorceress and Red Hermit. I just never felt proficient or enough to try something with electronics, because I've never learned it. All I know is how to desolder a battery in a Game Boy cartridge or a Super Nintendo cartridge and solder on a new battery for backup. So this is anything that I know about electronics. And Red Hermit says, yeah, it's pretty fun. It has a career mode where you build up a small company building and fixing PCs for people. So essentially it's our dream, what we all would rather be doing than just trying to make a living. just building PCs all day. I think this could be fun. But then again, if it's your job and you have to build PCs all the time, it might not be that interesting. Sorceress says, I was terrified of opening my computer in 2000. Weren't we all? The first time when we had to deal with hardware, I recall that I got sweaty palms, and I thought, yeah, this might not be good. And somewhere I read that you have to be wary about static electricity. So and that you just touch a radiator or pretty much anything that's grounded. And I never let go of this radiator. I was just working like this with one hand, because I thought as soon as I let go, everything just gets electrified and I get electrocuted and everything dies there. And I think the first thing that I did was just install a sound card. So yeah, at least this channel here, as you might know, is also hosting the old-timey computer show, and there was some program where they showed of how to build your computer in 1986, and boy, we've come a long way from in terms of things that just snap in the motherboard, or where it just says here RAM goes here, and you don't have to fiddle around with lots of jumpers and do IRQ settings and all that shit. So yeah, I think it's still not something for the layman or the lay person, but it's at least I mean, we're at a point where I feel pretty proficient and pretty secure when I'm just sticking my screwdriver in there and just going like this, so I can't do too much damage, still manage to enough damage. Red Hermit says, I think you should get the key then. Lepton wants the Revolution on his wish list. So I think if nobody objects, I mean, having something on your wish list means that you really want it. So let me shoot you then the key. Let me just whisper it to you. So the key, of course, I have as a screenshot. So if it doesn't work, please let me know. As far as I know, those are Steam keys, right, Red Hermit? The Revolution. There we go. That's a 2. This is so last century. This is the paperless office. You print out something. You print out an email. I think this is what was called paperless office. So LJ, where are you? There you are. Whisper. Why can't I whisper? I'm not quite sure how this works. Let me block lip. No. I want just to whisper. Okay, Yeah, this was not whispering, was it? Oh dear. I'm really sorry. So yeah, there's the code. I'm so dumb. Okay, and finally, the last game after the PC building simulator is one that I also already got. This is Elite Dangerous. I'm not certain why I stopped playing it, but I think to me it was at a certain point I wasn't having much fun anymore. I think the most fun I had was really trying to maneuver my spacecraft and really try to get the landing straight. I think I got a video where the first time I tried to dock on a station that was revolving, and it was just pain and suffering for 20 minutes. And then after a couple hours of play and yeah, just trying things out and getting comfortable with the controls, I just landed it smoothly, and I thought, yeah, this is my pinnacle in this game, because just going from station to station wasn't that fun for me. When I was bumped by some interstellar space pirates out of my hyperspace travel, for some reason I was so bad, I always feared those fighting sequences. For me it was all about the trading, because I'm not that good at semi-realistic space dogfighting. Yeah, they just took me apart every single time. So the most fun that I personally had was really trying to nail a landing there and get out of the hyperspeed just at the right moment, where you wouldn't overshoot and be like 20,000 kilometers past the station where you wanted to land. So yeah, this was Elite Dangerous to me. Like I said, I was expecting a bit more, but this is probably my problem, that again the game is promising something very differently than what I was expecting. Probably I think I was expecting more of a wing commander or more of a trading simulation. Either way, there's a key for Elite Dangerous. So if you played this on your BBC Micro, the first one, then this might be a subtle upgrade to that. So yeah, let's hope Lepton is in time. And Phil, let Red Hermit give the codes. Yeah, Red Hermit, do you still have those codes? I mean, like I said, I got them here on my as a screenshot. But if you still got those codes, of course, it would make much more sense, because I'm incapable of whispering to people on the chat. Is it because I'm streaming, or maybe I'm doing something wrong? Yeah, this is probably the problem. And Red Hermit says, "Yet I've got it covered." Thank you so much for stepping in. A round of applause again to Red Hermit for just saving the day and saving my ass in terms of not looking as stupid as I am there live on the stream. Seems I was too slow. Really? Maybe. You know what? Maybe there's a good chance that I just typed the code wrong. So if Red Hermit, if you could whisper Lepton the code again, this would be great. I might have made a typo. Let me just check. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, if it still won't work, please see me after class. Maybe we can work something out. I'm sorry if someone else took it already. My God, this is a shame on you. Lepton was really looking forward to it. Oh, no typo. Oh dear. You know what? Let me see if I can work something out. Yeah, just let me know. Okay, so the last game, so we got We the Revolution. Again, congratulations to someone who snitched it away. And we got the PC Building Simulator. So anyone wants the PC Building Simulator, please let me know. And of course, Elite Dangerous, to anyone who isn't afraid to do trading and shooting the pirates. Again, like I said, to me it was just a bit too much work to get into. But then again, I mean, it's a space MMO. It's the closest thing that we can get to to Star Citizen until Star Citizen comes out. I mean, this game has been released in 2015, and Star Citizen, I think, has been announced in 2012. So yeah, it's probably still won't be ready when when there's a Elite Dangerous Part 2 out someday or not. So yeah, Sasor says, I would have hoped the viewers here would be more respectful, not to steal someone else's. Yeah, it's pretty shitty if you steal someone else's game. I really thought we had a nice little community there, but apparently there are 12 viewers and not everyone is busy in the chat. So apparently someone, yeah, maybe I should I should do some streams where it's just subscribers to the channel or patrons or subscribers and patrons. Yeah, just a close-knit community and not someone who's just out there snitching games they might probably not be playing. Frank says, I don't know how Twitch chat works. Maybe there's a way to monitor many channels unnoticed and look for keys. I think this could also be the thing that we got some bot that just goes around and combs pretty much any channel for keys. I think this, knowing the internet and people on the internet, I think this might be very probable that you have a bot that's just trying all car doors in a row and one is not locked, so there we go. And I think this was what just happened there on the stream, but like I said, I think we can work something out. So again, let me know if anyone wants Elite Dangerous or the PC Building Simulator, both great games in their own way. Like I said, I realized that Elite Dangerous is not for me, but again, not many games are for me. I don't really see a fun in the Call of Duty games for myself. I played Modern Warfare 1, was blown away, and when I thought, okay, the game's really starting, now we're getting somewhere, then the credits rolled and it said, yeah, you should try the multiplayer, which, by the way, was really fun when we were playing it in college in the computer lab late at night. We were just, I think, 8 or 10 guys, and we just were playing. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, that was it. Playing it online wasn't that much fun. And then Call of Duty not World War II, what's the second one? Modern Warfare 2 came out, and I also bought this and thought, yeah, I think I know where this is going. So it's just bam, and a lot of things that explode in your face, and betrayal and war atrocities, and the one mission where they think everyone in the press will write about them because it's so controversial, but in the end, yeah, it's not for me. It's just not for me. Okay, so this concludes our giveaway. One thing that I forgot to mention in the beginning is whenever I say unicorn, let's have all a sip of water because it's fun and healthy to stay hydrated. Okay, so what are we here for? We prepare for Ludum Dare 47. Let me just check this out. LD Jam 47 starts in 12 days. Oh my god, it's so close. Yeah. So by the way, the theme suggestions are open. Please give good theme suggestions and then never see them in the final rounds. This is what happens with mine, but again, mine are not not something that a lot of people would enjoy playing. I think I got a whole list there of potential theme suggestions that I have there, but again, it's not something that usually makes it very far. Did you enjoy Half-Life Pixel Prophecy? Sorcerer says, yes, I did, the first one, and for some reason I even enjoyed to a certain part the Zen levels, you know, the final part where it's more jumping puzzles and so on. I realized how much I enjoyed Half-Life when I was playing Black Mesa, which is a fan-made recreation of the first Half-Life in, was it the current Source engine? So essentially they're just, I think it started when Half-Life 2 came out, and it was presentation wise just amazing, and then they also said, yeah, but you also can play Half-Life 1 in the Half-Life 2 engine, and everyone was like, what, this is great, and then you started and it's, oh, of course it's the Source engine 1.0 assets and everything. Yeah, it works in the Source engine. This is great, but it looks like ass. And so a team of modders took it upon themselves to recreate the first Half-Life with the Source engine. And yeah, as with all mod projects, it went up and down and then disappeared and then reappeared, and things in the team changed and so on and so forth. But I think early this year, 6 months or so, they said we are finished even with Zen, this horrible alien planet. And yeah, my point is that when I started this game, where I just needed something for my chromatic aberration video, I thought, yeah, I just need a couple of seconds of a certain section in the screenplay, and there we go. And I played it for like 3 or 4 hours straight. It was just like, oh my god, this is this is a good shooter in a sense. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, I played Half-Life and I enjoyed it. Also the second one, which I only played once, and then I thought I'm good. There's what I really not enjoy about shooter levels, come to think of it, and why I didn't replay Half-Life 2 is this hold the position while fighting off hordes of monsters for a certain amount of time. This I never liked in any game. I really don't like the feeling of being trapped and just having to fight against monsters, or just wave after wave, and each one gets stronger. And it's a very cheap way in terms of game design. Well, cheap. It's a trusty way of ramping up the stakes and knowing, your player will really be in a pickle at a certain point if you gradually ramp up those incoming waves. And I never really liked it. It was just running from turret to turret and setting them up again. And like I said, I felt trapped, and I personally enjoyed more if it's the other way around, where there's an enemy base and I can stake out the base and then just pick off the guards one by one with my sniper rifle and then sneak in, and ideally no one ever knew what was coming to them, but the base is all dead. So this is usually how I play shooters, and incidentally this was the reason why I enjoyed the last Deus Ex game, because I just could sneak in and nobody would notice me, and I would just take down all the guards. Sorcerer says, I got bored of Half-Life at the Zen levels. What were they thinking, right? So up to that point, it's a really engaging shooter game. And what I loved about the first Half-Life was that all the levels were connected in a sense, that it really felt like, it's not level after level, and then you just get when you turn around, there are the closed doors. So from a level design perspective, everything felt like it was connected. You just had those loading screens in between them, but they felt organic in a sense. You could theoretically you could go back from the very last point in the game where the portal to Zen opens, at least, and go to the start where you came in, because everything was connected, and this was just mind-blowing. And the Zen levels, of course, they weren't so much about shooting anymore, but they were just weird, and all things you'd learned at that part, how things work, how things look, didn't really work anymore. It was a lot of jumping puzzles and everything was really cryptic, and in the end it was just shoot as many grenades as you can into this big blob thing and credits. I totally get it. To me, like I said, I only played once with the first Half-Life and also enjoyed it right up to the Zen levels, and then I thought, how much game is there? Okay, it's just a couple of hours. I can do this. I really want to finish this game, so yeah. Did you try the Half-Life expansions Opposing Force Blue Shift Gunman Chronicles? I never did. I think it wasn't Opposing Force by some studio that was later becoming real big. Was it by Treyarch or something? Because I've heard good things about those add-ons, but I've never played them because I felt, it's probably not the good old Gordon Freeman crowbar action that I was at this point expecting. But no, I haven't played it. And Lepton has a key that works now and got the game problem solved. Oh, this is wonderful. So congratulations. I'm curious, how did you solve it? So I didn't make a typo there. So did you buy the game again for Lepton? Oh my god. This is what I think that just happened. But it's so great to know that Lepton has this game. Wonderful, so I can take it off the list then. We the Revolution. Another game that I'm playing at the current time is Disco Elysium. I think I tweeted last night. The tweet went like this: damn! This is the best RPG I've ever played. And I still, even after a night's sleep, I still stand by this. So, Red Hermit really bought a new key. This is, my god, man, you're so generous to all this. Again, I already said a round of applause, but there's just one more. My god, this is so nice of you. This is actually what I've planned, because I was the dumbass that wrote it into the chat for everyone to steal. And so thank you. You shouldn't have to. Yeah, about Disco Elysium, I have some things to say about Disco Elysium. If anyone is interested or doesn't really know much about the game, because now there are so many things in this game where I thought, why did nobody think of this before ever? And what I also like about Disco Elysium, at least for me, is that it feels its world building is just amazing, and it's so well written and on so many levels. It really feels like if games always try to be, yeah, this game is like a good book or this game is like a good movie. Yeah, Disco Elysium is actually a really good book. I really have to say, and it's one where you, again, since it's a role-playing game that deserves the name, you really can decide what roles to play or how to drive the story. Of course, you can't change much of the story, but it's with most RPGs, right? It's this big overarching story where you that you more or less follow along, depending on how well your choices work out in the end, faster or slower. But aside from that, there are many little side things that you can do to your character's liking or to your character's abilities, and those of course have different outcomes, and you really feel it with Disco Elysium. It's like I said, it's amazing. Red Hermit says, I also got worried when I saw the tweet that you would get sucked into it, super addicted, and we wouldn't see you for a few weeks. The thing is, it kind of happened, actually. I started with Disco Elysium this week because, like I said last week, the load at work didn't relent in any way. So yeah, I was just at home. I thought, I can't do anything. I was looking at detailed color grading stuff and editing things the entire week. And I thought I really can't get much ahead with my post-mortem. I mean, I got a couple of minutes in the edit, so it's progressing. It's just very slow again. And I thought I need something to take my mind off. Maybe some word game. So I tried to play Letter Quest, but it was too taxing to form words under time pressure, because there were some modes where you are under time pressure. Then for State of Decay, which I also had been playing recently, I was again not really much in the mood for. I really wanted something that's more like, something that it's a word that sucks you in, where it's not about Twitch reactions or getting spooked or something. So what do? A role-playing game. And I thought, Disco Elysium, I have it sitting there in my pile of shame. You know what? I will start it. And the first screen, it's just black screen, and your limbic system or your reptilian brain starts to taunt you in some very poetic language. And essentially I had to chuckle a little bit, because the first, I think I have a screenshot there of the first screen, the very first screen when you start the game, and it came down to a variation of darkness, all engulfing darkness. And I thought, okay, you got me, game, you got me. Let me find this for you. So again, right now it's talking about Disco Elysium, and then we'll be preparing for the Ludum Dare postmortem, because again, I feel like Disco Elysium really needs to be to get some even more fans, because I mean it's already a big RPG, but I'm just evangelizing about it because it's so great. So this is the first thing that you see in the game: ancient reptilian brain, and there is nothing, only warm primordial blackness. And I thought, okay, you got me, game. So if you don't like reading, this game certainly is not for you. But what I like about this game, let's continue here. The art style, for one thing. So this essentially, it looks like what's it called, Baldur's Gate, in a sense. Also the cursor, when you move your, it's not a party, when you move your character from one point in the scene to another, it has the same weird icon. It just reminded me of that, and also roughly the same isometric perspective. But I really dig the art style. It looks like, as you can see, it looks like more like a concept painting that's come to life, with polygon characters that are also low poly. But with this art style, it really works, and it also got very clever lighting and so on. So it's not just flat 2D, but it got some 3D depth to it. And a lot of things, as you can see here, is just conveyed with text. But what is so freaking cool about this game is that instead of having a party of different characters, is you got your intellect, your psyche, your physique, and motorics, and those are even broken down into subsystems, I would call them. Well, it's not subsystems, it's sub-concepts more or less. So you got logic, encyclopedia, rhetoric, empathy, but also weird things like inland empire, esprit de corps, half-light, shivers, and so on. So these all stand for certain aspects of your psyche or even of your thinking, or in this case, of course, of the character you've created. So for example, if I have a high rhetoric a value, or what, not a skill, or well, if I have leveled up rhetoric to a certain degree, you will always see rhetoric injecting itself in my conversations. So essentially it works like this. You're talking with someone and they say something, and it looks like, last time we had 50, or they say it's like in the revolution in the 50s where 20 revolutionaries shot this one guy, and in rhetoric says you know this, it wasn't in the 50s, it was in the 40s, and they shot 40 guys, and you really should tell this person because it's important that they know that you are right. And so it's steering you in a certain sense. For another thing is if you get authority or esprit de corps, which is you're playing a police officer that's down on his luck in a sense. If you level those, then sometimes in normal dialogues, this will spring to life and say, you know what, this person could be lying. I mean, you're a police officer. Doesn't this feel wrong? They're not telling you everything. So you get this makes you a bit paranoid, and then new dialogue options open up depending on what you've leveled. On the other hand, if you leveled empathy, of course, you can naturally empathize more with other people and understand, where the game would also just give you more hints when somebody tells you, but everything is bad, but things have gotten better and I really feel better now. And empathy says, it's clearly a lie, this person doesn't really feel better, but if you lower on empathy, those things will just go unnoticed by you. And so from this, it sounds so straightforward, and I like this so much more over having a party to manage, and I also like the entire setting of the game much more than this high fantasy thing that I feel has been a little done to death. So everyone is Tolkien nowadays and has this huge incredible world building, but there are always the same elves and orcs running around, and the elves are noble but even a little bit snobby, and so on and so forth. So, I just saw something is happening in the chat where Red Hermit says, I was just reading about the developer Zaum, I don't know how to pronounce it, and Zaum started as a cultural movement uniting artists, writers, and entrepreneurs and activists established in 2009. The studio has been active for 5 years, and what started as a Dungeons and Dragons campaign between friends is now a studio 20 strong. And Disco Elysium is our first behemoth of a game, and a behemoth it is. Like I said, I've played like 10 hours or so, and it's divided into days. And overall the story is you arrive in a certain part of town that's pretty run down. It has seen the better days, and it's a slum in a sense, but just people try to come by or to make their living in a sense, and you don't remember anything. And then you piece together what had happened the night before, and it's something, you as a police officer, you arrived there, you were to investigate a murder because there's a person being hanged there. But all the days, it's like 3 or 4 days that you've been there before you've lost your memory and the game started proper. It was like you were drinking, you were just being an asshole to everyone, and at night you just had your little project of seeing how much you can trash up the hotel room, so much so that the cleaning personnel just outright quit because you were such an asshole, and you just cried and listened to loud music and drank yourself to oblivion, literally, and the next day you wake up when you as the player can take over. So I decided for myself, this policeman has been at the crossroads, and this losing of his mind is actually a blessing, and this I take it for my character as his way as his trigger to turn his life around. And he's going cold turkey, no drugs, no alcohol, and just trying to help people and make up for everything that he's done. So I apologize to a lot of people I've heard in the game, and you know what, suddenly a certain thought emerges, because this is another part of the game. You got again here your abilities, your stats here, but then you got something that is under this icon here, and this is called, I don't think I have a screenshot for this, the thought cabinet. And this is where you can entertain different thoughts that you pick up during a conversation, for example, or just by doing something repeatedly. Like I said, as a cop, I apologized to a lot of people, and the game said, yeah, you're a sorry cop. You're sorry for pretty much everything. So maybe it's your fault. Maybe people will be more empathetic towards you. But overall, yeah, everyone knows that you're just sorry about everything, and maybe you become their playing ball, essentially. And you can entertain a couple of more thoughts at the same time. And for example, I was talking to some really nasty racist there that was all the time belittling me of how my race came to be so low, and he now will overtake his race will overtake now the continent and so on. So there is not much he can do for me now, because I'm just so much devolved. He can really see it from my cranium, because it's got the measurements and the proportions of a low-life criminal and so on. So you can see there's pretty heavy stuff there. And during this dialogue, my character said, or something in my character said, maybe it was rhetoric or was it encyclopedia or conceptualization, I think it was, said, you know what? Maybe he's onto something. You should give this thought about racial purity some more time, wouldn't you think? Of course, you can always say no thanks, but then again, there are a lot. I don't have the number, but it's like 20 or so certain thoughts that you can entertain, essentially. And one of the thoughts that I went for is that my cop thinks of himself as the superstar cop. He's underestimated probably, but he knows that he's really good. So of course he comes off a little bit like a prick now, because when some people say, oh my god, thank you, you helped me so much, you must be a real good cop, and you go, yeah, I'm the best. So yeah, it really doesn't come off. But then again, of course, you get some bonus points, because when you think you're real good, your logic, I think it was, becomes actually a little bit better, because you're so sure of yourself that actually, you don't have any self-doubts when it comes to investigating and so on. So yeah, I've been talking quite a lot about this game, so I think you know in what you can get into. But like I said, it's just amazing how much there is to this game. And for one thing, I think I got this. There is a wonderful where I think that was already before, where I decided here, where encyclopedia said, doesn't it sound like somewhere you can stay if you run out of money? Because of course you have to pay this person 20 real each day. This is the currency in this world. And because you've trashed your place, you already owe him a lot of money. So this is also a part where you really should try to get some money first. Then each day in the game you want to stay there, you have to pay them 20 real in advance. So, but really, now the game tells me, really, do you have to stay at a hotel? And there you can decide, well, I'll just live in a dumpster. I don't care. Fuck everything. Hobo cop, which I found hilarious. And of course my main means of getting cash in this game is just going around collecting tar bottles and trying to collect as many as that I get 20 real for the day, so on. So yeah, it's incredible how much there is in this story, and the world building, like I said, is just amazing. It's a complete. At first, I thought, this is probably playing with the good old Soviet rundown part in the Soviet Union in the 80s or late 70s trope, and it feels a little bit, but the entire world, all the history is of course made up, like in a good fantasy RPG. But like I said, it's not these elves and orcs. It's incredibly complicated. Fair enough, not to saying that elves and orcs can't be complicated, because looking at Pillars of Eternity, for example, it really is. But here it feels like I get more connections to the real world. And like I said, this world building is so good because everything is really complex. At first it looks, this guy you are about to investigate, who's by the way still hanging there after a week that you've arrived, you haven't examined the corpse or taken down, you just drunk yourself into oblivion. Either way, things aren't as they seem, and secondly, they are much more complicated than you would think. There's this union on the strike, but they got a good position, good points. The entire place has a history, has a place in the world. There are so many coalitions and parts that are cooperative in a way. Some people are just outright I'm not quite sure how to convey this immense sense of history. And also you can talk to some old war veterans. They of course have their very specific point of view on things and how things were better and so on and so forth. Like, it's amazing how much they crammed in there, and the atmosphere is just so good with doing actually so little. So I think essentially this hand-drawn concept artsy style really is a bonus for this entire game, because it feels more like an expressionist painting. And of course the writing, like I said, is very good. Sometimes maybe bordering a little bit too much on waxing too poetic at certain times, but then again I also feel that this is the charm of the entire game. So I've been as you can see, I'm quite smitten with the game, and I will try to finish it. So I think I'm halfway through from what I've known. Always consult howlongtobeat.com before plunging into a game. But to me, this has been really some kind of eye-opener in terms what you can do with RPGs. So it's not just monsters and orcs and elves. Sorceress says, playing to their strengths. Yeah, absolutely. This studio, like I said, I didn't know anything about Zaum or what they are called, but I mean, if they keep up this quality in their games, I'm going to play every one of them, because to me, from this one game, they are to me the new BioWare in a sense. So this is quite big boots to fill. And talking about big boots and Disco Elysium, if you've played it, there's a pun in there. Well, it's not a pun, it's a reference to something in the anyway. It's a good game. Red Hermit says, also there's a fantastic devlog on Zaum's website going back to January 2016. I haven't looked into this. I just browsed through it and I thought, I really should read this after I finished with the game, because it's into showing the game development and how it has evolved into the masterpiece it is today. From what I can see, it just come to existence organically, because you really can't plan this big this behemoth, as they say themselves, of a game from day one. It has to grow, and it's like, there's so much text in there. I mean, this is, like I said, it's this fat of a novel as a game. And of course, I'm not talking about trying to replay it again as a different role. Again, this is, I think, the biggest strength of role-playing games. You finished a big one after a year, you come back and you think, you know what, now I'm playing as the prick. I always try to, and then I feel bad for the other people in this game, and then I do the same choices all over again. And it was made in Unity, and as Red Hermit says, started with a small team in Estonia. And I think the main designer and head writer has this Estonian background, and I find this just amazing. What amazing games we get from people who have a different background than the most AAA games, where it's set in a post-apocalyptic New York or something. And I've seen New York destroyed in games countless times. Same goes for LA or something. So it's I think as soon as you start trailing off the tried and true, the beaten paths, and dig into something that's very personal to your own experience or your own surroundings, and try to work this into a game or into a message, so to speak, those are the most interesting ones to play. So this is why I'm drifting more and more towards indie games or small developer games, because, like I said, there's just so much more there where it's just blowing your mind about, like I said, the world building. It feels somewhat Eastern Bloc 70s styled world building, but then, like I said, the more you dig into it, it becomes even bigger and feels so coherent. It's amazing. And I don't think I've heard of games coming from Estonia before. Yeah, me neither. I think now they are based in London, and also, by the way, there's some voice acting in there. I mean, of course, not all the lines are voiced, but those that are central to the story, or some characters, at least their first couple of lines are voiced, which I think is a very, very good decision, because you get a sense of the character. They each speak with different accents, which I found very interesting, because, I mean, of course, we know, yeah, this sounds like a French accent and this sounds like an Irish accent, but inside the game, you're not quite sure, because there is not, it's a completely different world. There is no Ireland, there is no France in there. There is the Eastern Coalition and so on, and there's Oranienreich, I think. Yeah, like I said, it's, you can find some similarities, but they don't completely work out. I mean, there's some allegory of maybe the NATO, but like I said, it doesn't entirely map to our real world experiences, or what I'm used to. And like I said, it's mesmerizing. You can look at it at so many different angles and always see something new and something that doesn't fit. And I think things that don't go together quite well, they always have some wiggle room where you think maybe it's a little bit different. Those, to me at least, are the most interesting experiences. And to come back to the start, with most RPGs, I feel everyone is trying to do Tolkien, and many do Tolkien really well, but in the end it's just the same high fantasy tropes. And the good stories, there are many good side quests or interesting philosophical side quests hidden somewhere, but at least I won't see them, because I really tried hard to get into Pillars of Eternity. I even backed the Kickstarter because I thought, my god, this is going to be so good. It's an old school game and I like old school games, but for me it was just too old school, and there was too much emphasis on fights and fighting and this real-time fighting combat system. Yeah, it didn't grow on me, and at a certain point I thought, I don't understand anything of this world. They're throwing so much exposition at me, or not even exposition, they're just throwing verbs and words at you that you don't understand. And at a certain point I thought, yeah, this is like an anime where people say, yeah, after the 6th season you start to figure things out, and I thought, it's too long for me to get to a point. Okay, yeah, this is again my completely biased praise of Disco Elysium. Let's see if I can think of some things that aren't good with it to balance it out a little bit. For one thing is maybe some of the skill checks that you have to do to advance the story, because some you can only try once, and then you have to level that certain skill, and then you can retry them with a little better odds. Some are clearly indicated that you can't do them now, where it says, yeah, you can try this skill check, but you get a -20 because it's not the right time yet. So you're urged to come back later. So on some occasions the guidance of the player is very good, where the game outright says, yeah, you might want to try this at a later point, or yeah, you probably shouldn't talk to this guy just now. But at other times it's like, yeah, I really want this, I need this to advance the story, and I'm not trying to grind essentially just to level up that skill so that I can try again. So what did I do? Tried and true tactic of save scumming. So yeah, you get a 12% chance. So I just try to save and load for 10 times, and chances are good that at least one of those or two of those I will succeed. Sooner or later I will, and this is how I solved some of the skill checks, because I'm playing as a thinker in the game. This is just some of the archetypes you can pick in the start, which means I got a guy that's very high in terms of conceptualization and visual calculation calculus and rhetoric and so on, but is not so good with people, and also on the fringes of losing his mind because it's just so frail. Conceptualization, which I think is a quite interesting concept. Conceptualization always is in the back of my character's mind and always saying something that there are patterns where there are none, but yeah, you're drawn to figuring things out, and this might also become my character's downfall, maybe in the long term. Who knows? But I think this is one of the things that I feel, apart from some clipping errors or some ugly aliasing in certain places, but overall, like I said, it's a good game. It's a good game. Okay, so I've been talking for 1 hour and haven't done a thing to prepare for Ludum Dare. In other ways, I'm doing it as I always do. So yeah, let's try to, as we say in German, make nails with heads, so that that something happens when you try to hit them. Okay, so number 1. What was my problem with most Ludum Dare experiences so far? That I didn't arrive at a good idea, and when I had a good idea after like 17 hours in or something along those lines, I really had to start with everything from the ground and build essentially my game up from nothing. Wouldn't it be nice at least to start when I know I want to make something that's a text-based game, that I have a certain framework in place, like I said, a scaffolding? Or if I want to start, my idea is more for a top-down game, where at least I have a bare bones game where I just need to design some some levels and maybe some characters, of course, but that overall I don't have to do, okay, if player presses W, then per each step it's minus on the y-axis by movement speed or so on. That this boilerplate code that I've done like dozens of times so far, and it's always essentially the same functionality, just doing it differently. So I thought I will do this at least this time, where in Game Maker, I just take my last Ludum Dare game, it was not Thanks for Nothing, it was Rampage. And from this, I rip out pretty much anything, all the sprites, all the levels and so on, that I just have colliders and things that I can collide with, and anything else maybe should be part of the actual game, should I decide to make a top-down game. Maybe I will do also a setup for a turn-based game and maybe a side-scroller or something. I wanted also to look into FMV games, but I don't think I will have time to shoot an FMV game for a game jam and also shoot myself shooting an FMV game. It's just too much. I could shoot myself in the head when it's just too much like this. Sorcerer says, sounds like how my Ludum Dare preparation used to go. Yeah, you said used to go, so I'm assuming you do things differently now. At least I hope so. Otherwise, we're all... I mean, what was it that Vaz said in Far Cry 3? I'm not quite sure if the original quote is from Far Cry 3, but it happens there, where it says, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And I think this is with me with Ludum Dare. I'm always making the same mistakes, and I hope maybe it works once. Red Hermit asks, all in Game Maker, you're set on that for the next LD? I'm not really set on Game Maker, but with certain things, especially those top-down games, I'm just faster in Game Maker. At least I feel that I can get, at least in terms of prototyping, much faster to a point where I can start to iterate on something and not have to bang my head against the documentation and just to get, why won't you accept this freaking timer variable? What's wrong? Oh, it's an internal variable or some sort of thing. So maybe, but that's it for top-down games or side-scrollers. But maybe when I have an idea that would work really well as a first-person 3D game, Well, if I want to do this in PainMaker, Game Maker, I already said PainMaker. So yeah, that's already gave away the punchline. Yeah, it would be more of a pain maker to do 3D in Game Maker. I mean, it's possible, and some people really make amazing 3D stuff in Game Maker, but I think I'm past the point of trying to see if this is possible. It's like trying to play or to get Doom running on a pregnancy test. I mean, it's possible, but you don't want to do this during a game jam. So I think I will, as always, I try to pick the best engine for the job, and the best engine, of course, means not what is objectively the best engine, because there is not the best engine. We all know the best engine is this, the one that allows you to get to a point the fastest without you having to spend, like I said, the most time just trying to figure out what the documentation actually means. Can I see an example? Can I see this code running somewhere? Because I don't know how to do this. And yeah, this is, at least my plan is, well, it always has been my plan to use the best engine that's best suited, but with my last game, as some of you know, mid-jam, that's the word, mid-jam, I tried to switch to Unity and opened a can of worms that I wasn't expected to eat. Yeah, it was this disgusting. And then I switched back to Game Maker from Unity again and started essentially from a clean slate. So this was not the best approach of doing things, but now I know. Sorcerer says, used to, because I don't do a Ludum Dare anymore, and this is news to me. And Red Herman says, do you still help admin the event? And Sorcerer has also apparently stepped back from this, which is a shame, but then again, it's a lot of work, I would assume, especially in terms of the admin side. For one thing that I just noticed with one eye, as we say in German, so not gave it my full attention, but I saw on Twitter that Mike Kasperzak, who's running the entire back end and doing all the development on the server and anything, was working overtime to have the site up and running again on, I think, a new hosting server and a different architecture in the background. I don't fully understand what has been going on. All I know that it was a lot of work to get things done, and he didn't get enough sleep the past couple of days, on top of Ludum Dare not making really money, right? It's more a community event, and I'm really grateful that it's still happening, and big shout out to Mike Kasperzak for still running it, and all the other volunteers that spend a lot of time and effort that, like I said, you don't get compensated in a monetary form in any way. So yeah, it's really so all the time that you've invested in Ludum Dare and running Ludum Dare, Sorceress, thank you so much for your service, essentially. So I really can understand that at a certain point you really want to take a step back. So also Red Herman says, I think I was just used to seeing that in your Twitter profile header. Yeah, me too. So this is news to me, but again, at a certain point, I feel you have to take a step back and really look at things, and of course look after yourself and what you want to do and how things work out for you. Because there's no point in doing something that you really don't enjoy, especially if it comes down to a lot of work. So yeah, cheers. And did I say unicorn? Let's say unicorn. Okay, now I've been talking for over 1 hour and 5 minutes, so let's get this started. Where do I have my Game Maker Studio 2? Sorcerer says, yeah, I kind of lost interest in game dev. I think it's at a certain point it's only fair enough. What I also heard recently, wasn't Brackeys also stepping back from doing game dev tutorials or game dev in general? So I think, oh, there's a new version out there. Look at this. Download now. I don't think you can see my mouse cursor right now. Let me change this. There we go. Oh, of course, I also haven't started up Game Maker for so long that I have to log in again. So where's my password manager? Of course. It's a long master password, and of course it's the wrong one. There we go. Game Maker. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have your password manager open when you're doing a live stream, but yeah, I think, yeah, this works. Okay, let me switch, start the glass brick. Of course, I pasted the wrong username or the wrong password, yeah, because this is the correct password. Paste, login. There we go. Yeah, I think now you can see also my mouse cursor, because now I'm able to zoom my screen again, which is wonderful. Okay, so yeah, let's open my very latest project and just, like I said, strip out any things that won't get used or well aren't necessary to have when you start with essentially a template, which I think might be interesting, so that you have already some kind of collisions working and some kind of input system working, so that, like I said, I can jump straight in should I have something, so that it's more of a game. Because with last time with Rampage, I was really hard pressed to get more levels out there, because it just took so long for the basic implementation. And I mean, at the bottom of it, there's not much mechanics in there because I spent too much time, as always, polishing and really getting this thing off the ground. Okay, so let's go to my Dropbox and to my projects, and I have everything neatly organized there. And you can see here I got Game Maker and 2020. What's the difference? Well, 2020 is where I'm not quite sure where I want to go with a certain game idea, so I just pop it in there in 2020, and then maybe I will do it with Game Maker, then I just move it to Game Maker, and so on and so forth. Look at this, inside 2020 I even have a Unity something where it's 3 games that didn't get far, but at least the Gumshoe prototype is the one that I've shown you, I think, the last month or so, where I was just trying to get my FMV game together with an adventure game, which is now on hold because I have so many things going on at work. I need to get a breather at a certain point to get back to this. But again, I'm determined to keep working on it. It's just as a little pet project. Okay, so Ludum Dare 46. This is pretty much the entirety of Rampage. So I will just copy and paste it. Let's do this. Yeah, with Explorer is fine. And maybe, you know what, since I'm streaming, maybe I should have done this before and pause my Dropbox. Otherwise, it might be interfering there with my upstream, which is quite possible. Okay, so copying everything, and then I will just rip everything out that's not related to Ludum Dare 46 or the new Ludum Dare. So I think, how big is this? I mean, we're copying a lot of files there, and most of them are PNG files. What is going on? The Ludum Dare 46 is this. Of course, yeah, this is also the Unity project that I have in there, so a lot of this is also Unity light maps or baked things. I'm not quite sure what's happening. But PNGs and YY, so those are Game Maker things, and it's 14,000, or how many was it initially? I think it was 13,000 items. So yeah, I should have thought about this before, because like I said, I won't be needing the most of this anyway. So let's cancel this and rename it to Ludum Dare 47. And I probably can change it. Of course I can't. So this was pointless. Okay, you know what? Let's do a completely new system, or a new setup then. So far, so good on bandwidth. Red Hermit assures me this is good. Thank you. Yeah, Dropbox is now paused. No, it's syncing. Pause. Oh, I need to hit something else, so pause until tomorrow. So I can't pause it entirely. Apparently, after the latest update with my Dropbox, I can only pause the syncing until tomorrow. And I think this is also why I couldn't delete this folder, because Dropbox, was still using it, and now I could. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's first get to the right folder then, and then I will zoom in so you can see it a bit more. Game dev, there we go, 2020. And then I will show you how I do my setups there. So let's just call it Ludum Dare 47. So let's examine 46. What do I have usually in there? I got my assets, which is pretty much anything that's drawn, like we got the icon here. Then of course some things like music, sounds, concepts, and the concepts you can see are littered with already production assets there. And oh, look at this, even a palette and the tile set. So everything is apparently a concept there. Yeah, I didn't bother starting a new folder for anything. Moods, okay, moods are my references. Okay, I can't do this when I'm zoomed in, so now we can. So those are just yeah, moods that I tried to change, or well, not change. I just applied the palette that they got the same colors as the color palette that I arrived on in the game, which I think looks really nice. It got a little bit of this EGA style. So overall, of course, you need to tweak things a little bit, but apparently I really liked it, because this is yeah, like I said, it's more for moods, so if in case that I wanted maybe to make a different level where we got maybe some sort of a field and then a stream through it. Yeah, look at this. So the stream would have these colors and the field would be interesting. It's more yellow and red, and darker woods would be this blue and rusty red there. So again, it was just for me to figure out what colors in the nature would there actually be. Okay, so let's do this side by side then. Man, I really should have changed my screen resolution because it must be tiny for you, but I will try to zoom in as soon as I've organized here my windows. There we go. So on the right hand side here I got Ludum Dare 46, my reference, and this is going to be my new folder for Ludum Dare 47. And the first thing that I create is of course assets. And no, actually the very first folder that I have is called Docs, because this is my idea collection, and in Docs in 46 you can see here my Scully text files there, and I made a backup copy in case maybe I change something here or I pretend to type something in Scully when I need some pickups that I haven't filmed for the post-mortem. So far I didn't have to resort to this, but sometimes I just have to, essentially when I this is also might be a fun fact, when I want to show something where I'm typing and I wasn't recording at the time that I was typing something out, I just record myself, the screen recording in Scully, and then hit backspace until the entire sentence is just gone, and then I reverse the video and play it back at twice the speed, and then it looks like I'm typing something. So yeah, this very, very cheap but very effective. Okay, so those are my documents. Maybe I can also put in there an empty file. Well, not yet, because I really like it. Then when I save something in Scully, it already has here the time and date, which I think is very neat because I don't have to set it myself. I just can rely on Scully doing it for me. Finals, of course, we don't have any finals, so this is what I upload to my server that has, of course, the source code and the final game zipped. So I can create a folder there, but I'm not going to fill it out. Finals. And then I got GM projects. Of course, this is the Game Maker projects, and I don't need them all. This one here is called For Postmortem, and this is where I rip out certain parts just for demonstration's sake. For example, when I say in the script, yeah, at this point all I had was a square that was running, but I don't have a compiled version of this game where it's just a square running, then I just take the finished game and rip out everything that I don't need so that it looks like the early prototype. So essentially I'm not faking it as much as trying to restore how it actually looked before. So for now, let's take the LD release. I just copy and paste it there. I also make a new folder that I call GM projects. Should I do a Unity project, then of course it will be a Unity projects, and I will copy the entire game, and now it's not 13,000 files, it's just 416. And this one I will call template top down. And of course, since it's a Game Maker project, I also have to rename it here. And then this is the one that I'll be opening next after I'm done here with the folder structure. And like I said, rip anything out that I won't be needing. Then promo is just the title card for the LD website, and the screenshots pretty much anything that you need to promote the game. And look at this, I even got the high-res version of the title screen that is 3000 pixels wide. So you know what, maybe I will make a t-shirt of this at some point down the line. So promo I probably won't be needing right now, but let's do this. And of course there's Unity, so this is my failed attempt at making it in Unity. And of course I got a builds folder where I got builds. Usually since I'm doing the post-mortem, I've wisened up about at least this aspect, because as I said before, sometimes I have to mock up how it looked before because I don't have a saved version or not even a build or anything. And I've started to doing builds when I was working on it. You can see here at 10:20 p.m. at 10:38 and so on. So every couple of hours when something substantially happened, I just build the game as is, so that I have an exe file that I can just run, and it looks like how it would have looked like at this point in time. And since I'm also, of course, having some sort of, I call it a diary, actually it's just a log, where I write down at a certain point in time how am I feeling. This is just my basis for the script later on. So it says maybe like day 2, 3:55 in the afternoon, I'm extremely disappointed with myself and feeling down because I don't have anything. Or maybe it's later in the process, it says day 2, 11 p.m. Already finished this, but the other thing is not working. And then I say, this is version 6. And then I know, okay, at this point, this Rampage version 6, the compiled version, is exactly what I had at this point. And then if I should I need to have record something because it gets mentioned in my script, then I can just use the exe file that is in there if it opens up, or it's on this monitor. So there already got the entire game there compiled and able to run, because this is another thing. Maybe if something Game Maker gets updated and then an old project, for example, won't run anymore. So this is why I always make sure to have to have it compiled. Okay, been looking at the chat and completely been talking over it, as I always do. D-Makes, Sorcerer says, and Frank says cheating. And Commander Stitch says preparing. I was doing that too. Oh, this is nice. Anyone know a good MP4 or MKV or M4V to AV converter? Actually, yes, I do, and also promised some people to say or to give an insight about my MP4 settings of how I convert my games, because it's a little bit more involved. About a converter, all I can suggest is FFmpeg if you're not afraid of using command lines and doing a lot of testing and so on, because sometimes you really have to test things. Then I got a wonderful file if you want to do those testings, that is called media info. And it comes for all operating systems, even Linux. Okay, there's a new version out it, and you just drop an AVI file, pretty much any video container file there, and it lists you precisely with what codec it was encoded, what streams are to be found in there. Let's try this out with a recording from Disco Elysium. Let's try this, one of the Disco Elysium files. And you can see here it says the file name, the format, and which is also very nice, the format profile, the settings, the ID, bitrate, color space, pretty much anything in terms, if you're not quite sure if the encoding went right. And the other thing that I like to do in terms when I need an AVI at the end is virtual dub. It's still around. But I think also you need some kind of FFmpeg DLL in there if you want to open MPEG files or AVI files that got an MP4 or H.264 stream in there. But then of course it's like pretty much anything else you could do with virtual dub. So this is what I use, and for very quick and dirty I use the Adobe Media Encoder, where you don't have that many options as you have in other programs, but it works. And Red Hermit says, I think you can use a VLC to convert to AVI. Yes, of course. VLC is much more capable than I would have have assumed you can even do video recordings via VLC, which is also very, very helpful sometimes. And Retirement also says, I always just use whatever video tool is handy, Vegas or Premiere or something, but VLC is free. And Virtual Dub is free and FFmpeg is free. And those, like I said, if you want to get into the nitty gritty, those are really great. Commander Stitch also says, oh yeah, thanks guys, I'll work on that. I'm doing a prospective review thingy and my footage can't be edited till I convert. Oh my god, yeah, the entire thing with video containers and frame rate issues and color space, and yeah, I've had it all. So far with my postmortems, I've had it all. Okay, let's finish up. My god, so many capture builds. There we were. Okay, so yeah, I got my assets, docs, finals. Let's also add here. Apparently I'm completely in the wrong. There we go. Builds. Yeah, just my very empty scaffolding apart from the GM projects, and now we're going to take this template top down, like I've been saying for the past couple of hours, I think. So let's open this one and rip it apart. Everyone getting into video, Sorceress remarks. When will the next post-mortem come out, says Chaim or K Haim 0999. I planned it to come out before the next Ludum Dare starts, but I don't think that this will be happening, like I said, with all the things that are at work. So I'm halfway through the edit around that, and things are looking nicely until I come up to a point where I think, oh, there's just this one throwaway gag that I had in the script, and now I have to build an entire strategy game mock-up from nothing. And this, of course, takes a lot of time and yeah, puts the brakes on everything. And also when I'm coming home from work after 8 days and I've been just staring at video footage and then I just want to relax, yeah, things don't progress. So I don't think I will have it. No, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I won't have my video finished before Ludum Dare 47, but definitely before Ludum Dare 48. And so my plan is to do Ludum Dare 47. And then do the fill plays as always with my trusty RNG 2000. And yeah, from that, when this is done, maybe I will also concurrently work on the script for Ludum Dare 48, and yeah, then finish Ludum Dare 47, because so far I usually had a second video in the pipe, as it was with Chromatic Aberration, my tutorial video on that, or the Mafia racing version. I'm just used to say version now. The racing mission in Mafia, this also was a very involved video, and this also took a lot of time. And this video that's going to be on the side will be the Ludum Dare 47 postmortem, and while I'll be working on the Ludum Dare 48 script and subsequently also the postmortem. So it's coming in terms, if you want a clear date, I don't have one. I'm hopeful to still, yeah, I'm leaning myself out of the window now and say probably still in 2020, because at least there should be something good that's still happening in 2020, and this would be my postmortem for 46. So it's just, yeah, just a minor thing. So this is at least the plan. Commander Stitch also says, I took video production in college. Oh, and decided to go ahead and go forward with a project that I want to finish. Might be the only one I do. We will see. Well, with video production, at least from my perspective, it's a lot of fun, and usually it's not just one thing you do, because when you're done with one thing, you will realize, there are so many things that I could have done better the next time. So when there will be a next time, I don't know. Let's start something, and now it's my next project. And there you go. Welcome to video production village. Today and age, I feel like every person's a video producer, and yeah, I can completely agree. I mean, I might be biased because I'm in the entire video industry, but I feel so many people say, yeah, I'm doing video now, and look at me, I'm doing streaming now. Yeah, just an old fart that doesn't really understand how to whisper on Twitch or what is going on when someone cheers or spends bits. I'm still quite confused about this, and now look at me, I'm a streamer now. So there we go. Okay, finally back to Game Maker. Let me check OBS. Yes, you don't see much, but at least you can see my little mouse pointer there. Okay, let's rip it all apart. Let's see what I have here. And yeah, there's a lot going on. I got, in my sprites, I got cards. So the title card and the end card. Maybe I want to keep those in. I got UI, which I probably won't be needing because this is very specific to a game. So I will probably rip this out. Player front walk, hit, happy, idle, dead, walk back, and so on and so forth. Maybe I just keep one. And go from there. Environment, well, background, tiles. Yeah, and the other things I probably won't be keeping. Well, maybe the RAM, of course, is not the player, so anything that is not the player, because I don't know what game I will be making, this one goes out. Items, probably is the same thing there. I don't need items. Helpers, okay, those I might be keeping. I got here Sprite Collider, something you collide with. A zone, something you can, well, it's a zone and a sprite for a goal zone. So if something is in there, a certain trigger is met. So I think I might be keeping those. Obstacles, a stone block and debris. Yeah, I can delete those because everything else is done by helpers. And the visual effects, I get a plume, I got a fragment, and I got a shadow. I think those can go out as well. A tile set, well, I will probably keep the tile set. The sounds probably can all go also for the music. The scripts, a debris hit. I will have to look into this, but I'm pretty sure I won't be needing this very specific script. Then I got fonts, big, huge, medium and small. Might be keeping those in there, but of course I will replace them with, yeah, the right fonts in the end. And objects, so I will keep, of course, control init. I will keep control input and control game. Also an object player and the object collider pickup. Maybe, because chances are good that if you have a top-down game that you need something to pick up, but I don't need a sprite for this. Then of course my zones and objects can be in there, and the object destructible. Should it be destructible with an I? Yeah, never mind. So I probably can get rid of those. Rooms, I will keep the initialization room, I will keep the title and the ending room, and the other rooms probably can go. Maybe just keep one room where it's just an empty level. But so on and so forth. I think this is what I can keep. So, and then of course, what is very important is to try to run everything, because things might be referencing themselves. So yeah, it's good to just try to compile it. Sorcerer says, and raids Pixel Prophecy. What is a raid? Is this, oh my god, is my channel getting hacked now? Yeah, this was my first assumption when I thought, yeah, maybe we should raid another channel. I said, no, kids, hacking is bad and winners don't take drugs. So yeah, I'm completely out of the loop. Where did you learn video editing? All that media and computer stuff, says Lepton. I'm really sorry. Are you asking me or are you asking Commander Stitch? And Chaim says, so are you preparing to make a video or preparing to do the jam? Also, will I be able to watch you jam? Yes, no, and yes. Well, I think this was the sequence of questions. So I'm preparing to do the actual programming for the jam. Of course, I will be shooting and doing video stuff during the jam, but prepare usually in the afternoon or the evening before the jam to do all the video shooting, which mostly means just setting up lights and charging batteries. Well, I also always have my batteries and my lamps charged, because you never know when I want to shoot something. This sounds grim. I mean, shoot videos. That sounds better. And I thought about doing a live stream during the jam, but I thought this might be the one thing that, as we say in German, the drips that fills the barrel or that causes the barrel to spill. It might be too much. I think when I'm doing all the recording for the video and the screen captures, and also filming myself when I'm trying to make myself coffee with both eyes closed or something, I don't think that I'll be able to do also an entertaining or at least interesting stream, because I will be just going back and forth and also trying to be entertaining on a stream. I think this would be just too much, because you might be tempted to say, well, then just don't be entertaining on a stream, but I can't. I can't shut up. If I know that I'm live or on stage on some sort of another, I try to give my audience their money's worth, even if they're not paying anything, because otherwise it wouldn't be as interesting. Interestingly, my wife said, because she's working on a novel for years now, because she's so incredibly diligent and really wants to get everything right, and especially if you're doing some kind of murder mystery, the first chapters, the first pages really have not to contradict anything that happens later. So it's really crucial for her to set up. And I thought, you know what, maybe you can also get some kind of audience that is eagerly awaiting your novel. You should stream something. And she said, streaming a writer is like having to watch a person going this for 3 hours, and then it's okay, I think I finished it now. Because since it's a murder mystery in a sense, she really can't talk about what she's thinking about, because it's so many things. So, and coming back to this is probably also my thing, is that when I'm doing the jam, there are so many things that going on. Also, okay, and what angles do I need to shoot? Why is this line of code not being executed? And oh my God, why do I have so many notifications on my phone from friends that say, why don't you call back? So like I said, I probably won't ever be doing a live stream during my game jam, but rest assured I will record video of everything. So everything is recorded and taped. And Lepton says, asking Pixel Prophecy, and just go through the other chat comments. My favorite classes were screenwriting 1 and 2. I worked in a TV studio for a year as well. Okay, so you're already pretty much deep into the entire video production thing. So definitely go for it. And I think, like I said, because there is this predisposition towards video, so you might not do just one video and then stop. But well, maybe if you have a horrible experience, maybe you might. But I think we got more videos to come from you. Frank says, I think it would feel very weird to live stream you making notes about your mood for later video work. I think it's a bit like, then you know how the sausage is made, when I'm just sitting there and think, my game is not working. I need to make a note. I'm feeling very disappointed and distraught now. My game is not working. Where is my camera? I need 2 or 3 angles of me going when something is not working. And then, of course, I'm not fixing code. I'm just trying to get coverage. So it probably wouldn't be as interesting. And also, when you're watching through the camera, 90% of the 90% is maybe too much. Okay, let's go like 50% of the time I wouldn't be in camera. I would be just off camera, adjusting another camera and then going back, and it would be weird. Too many levels. Sorcerer says, first chapter is the most important. Yes, it's like the first level in a game. It's the one ideally you should come back to and do last, because then you know everything. But of course you need, it's really hard. It's like bootstrapping something. You need to have something to lift you to the next level. But of course you don't know what this level is, which it's amazing that you still know what is happening at what point. Sometimes she lets me read the first chapter and I said, I don't think anything has changed. And she goes, everything has changed. It's just details that have changed, but overall it feels the same. We can't all be Notch and code like the wind. Notch is it's a level of its own in so many different ways of how to interpret this. But with Notch coding, it's here at once this game, this prototype after Minecraft, where you're on a starship, but it's got a complete 16-bit computer that you can also code. It's just, at least for me, it's just too many levels. And to answer Lepton's comment about, or question, where was it? where did you learn video editing and all that media and computer stuff? For one thing is I always had fun doing videos. I recall borrowing the camcorder from my aunt back in the 90s, mid 90s, and I just did crazy videos where I did the editing in camera. This was, I also think the Angry Video Game Nerd made a video about his history, and for me it started quite similar, where I didn't know that you could edit something, or I didn't have the means to have really 2 video recorders where I could edit. We didn't have a VCR at home because my mom said we're watching too much television anyway, so there's no point in recording television. So I got this video camera from my aunt, and when you hit record, it would take like 2 seconds to spin up the tape. Yes, there was still tape in there, and it was not digital video, it was high 8 video. It was just it's like a VCR tape. A VHS tape, just smaller in there. And with these 2 seconds I could position myself, and then when I'm shooting, for example, a dialogue scene, I would position myself for one, get in costume and say, oh, this is very interesting, but what else has the spy found? Then I would run, hit stop on the camcorder, rewind a bit, that it's just what else has the spy found? Stop, then set up the camera, dress myself differently, and then hit record. 2 seconds. Well, he intercepted our strange missile, and then he already told the big bad boss about our laser. Stop. Then everything else, and do the reverse shot. Our laser, he knows about our laser. You get the picture. This is how I started. And then I went to a school that was called, oh my god, I tried to translate it, Higher Technical School for Art and Design, I think, something around those lines it was called. And there we got it took 5 years, so 1 year longer than usual, but 2 things that played into my favor. One thing was I didn't have to have mathematics in my final exam there, which is good, otherwise I wouldn't have some kind of certificate that I made it through school. And the other thing is that we had different classes, different departments essentially. In the first year you would try out each department for a couple of weeks and to see which one you liked best. And for me this was media, photography, and so on. The other were pottery, for example, metallurgy, or what's it called when you just make beautiful stuff out of metals or manipulating metals. Then there was one thing that was woodworking and just making for stage plays the entire scene and settings, and also for displays or it's really hard to describe what it was, but essentially it's just setting the stage in terms of expos, those things. And for me it was film, video, and photography, and this is where I really learned how to read a vectorscope. And I thought will never need how to know how to read a vectorscope or a waveform monitor, and as a colorist I need this pretty much every day. And the other thing is, this is where I got my training as a photographer for black and white. We did the entire laboratory stuff, also color photography in the end, and digital photography. So I got to work with from the smallest to the biggest camera, even the ones that look like in the old 1900s, where you really have this tarp or cloth that goes over your head, because this is fascinating, which I didn't know before. The negative of the camera is the entire backside of the camera. It's like a huge postcard. This is the negative, but you can't look through it when you have the negative in there. So first you have your what's it called, your screen, where you can actually see it, but it's so dim. This is why you have to put the cloth over you. Then you see a reverse picture of what you're trying to photograph. Then you lock everything, set the camera, set everything, set the timer, and then you exchange the viewer for the film, and then you go and then you exchange it, and you hope nothing went wrong in the process, which I loved. And of course we got some sort of digital video, and this was more of a free-form class essentially, where it's we got a pretty cool teacher there, and he just essentially just let us try things and do stuff. And this is where I started with 3D graphics. This was 99, around this time, where I discovered 3D Studio Max 2.0. Yeah, that was 2.0, and when 2.5 came out, I was just amazed at how much you could do. Anyway, this is also started there with After Effects and doing Premiere and digital video editing, and so on and so forth. And after that, I went to the University of Applied Sciences in Salzburg. Well, I did a year of civil service, and also studied art history and English. Anyway, I arrived at this later point. I arrived at the University of Applied Sciences, and there was this course, or this entire class. It was multimedia art, and there we did just film, video, audio, and also there you could also go for graphics design. But for me, everything was very interesting. But I got my degree in 3D animation, compositing, and also did a little bit of video. And from there I was just hooked. But my God, this is now my entire memoir in terms of video production. But I always found it funny and interesting, and also had a lot of fun just trying things out. And even from the earliest days, the most fun I had was once I could digitize video. This was back in the late 90s, where I had a crummy video digitizer card. But there with Music Maker, it was possible to do blue screen stuff. And then I realized, my God, I could do something in a 3D program and put it on top of a real action thing. For example, I hit a button and somewhere a sphere would explode that was made in 3D Studio, right? So this was just mind-blowing. And at a certain point, I was completely smitten with animation and 2D animation. This is probably because I saw a documentary about Nick Park. If you know Wallace and Gromit, he's the one who did the first Wallace and Gromit animations. And then I thought I would become an animator. Didn't quite work out. Anyway. Essentially this is, always had fun with it, always tried things out, and just gradually slipped into this big rabbit hole, and it just got bigger and more interesting, and there's just so much in terms of going on in terms of technology, but also artistically. So this is always fascinated me, and still does. Sorceress, do you still have those videos, Pixel Prophecy? I think I do. My first kids videos, I think I do, but I don't have a way of how to digitize them, because I don't have anything that I can play back high 8 video tapes on. So I probably would need first to find those tapes, and then get a recorder of some sort, and then have a way to digitize all them. But I think they might be somewhere. It might be quite interesting actually to look at those. So maybe I can dig them up maybe when I'm visiting my parents, maybe I can see if I still find tapes, and then see how things are going. Frank says, sounds very involved. Yes, it was too much involved for, but again, you know me, I'm always just a little bit over the 9 yards that one should go. Chaim says, I'm always joking about streamers always not looking at the camera, but now I realize why they do not. When I'm looking at the chat, I don't. When I'm looking at the screen, I don't. And but when I'm talking, it's funny, because I have thanks to this year and thanks to you, I started getting used to talking to the camera as if it were another person. And it's quite interesting when you do video conference calls with everything. In the Corona situation, pretty much everything does. And when you're talking to someone, you don't look at the screen, because this looks weird. It's like when you're talking to someone and don't look them into the eyes, it's weird. And this is why I realized that I was the only one who was actually looking into the camera when talking to somebody. But the downside is, of course, you don't see their face or just out of the corner of your eye. So it's weird, but you get used to it. Lepton says, the HAWK, try to translate it back. Hawk, no, it was the in German the HTL. Ortweinschule, where I was before college. That's a lot of different stuff. I've seen pretty much anything, and the cool thing about this, because I'm so old, is that I was at the crossroads where analog would become digital. So I learned a lot about analog filmmaking and photography, and then how video worked, and essentially how that translated to the digital. Since I work as a digital colorist, is just immensely helpful to know how things looked back then, because if someone says, I want to have this piece here that was shot entirely digital on a Red camera or an Arri Alexa, I want this to have the film look of I don't know, Fuji stock from the 80s, and I know how Fuji stock worked, and there are lookup tables to get to this look. But again, it's really interesting how to reverse engineer the analog to get digital to look analog. And as you've seen with me, I always have these 1940s black and white things somewhere in my videos, because it's just so fun trying to get all the inconsistencies, all the things that the imperfections of the analog down to the perfect digital. So again, it's just fun throwing grain over everything. Improvised autobiography in 2 hours. Oh my god, it's 2 hours already, my god. Thinking back to the Cellar post-mortem, when you were hitting yourself with a book for calling your animation an animation. Yeah, this was the Animator's Survival Guide, which is a book about animating. And what I found so funny about reading this book was when I learned that I'm not an animator, is where the author gave a lot of different examples for walk cycles, and then he said, but I'm sure you can come up with 100 more. He said, those are 10 more walk cycles than I would have ever come up with for a character. And yeah, I think my animation skills are sufficient as long as it doesn't involve a character. But then again, I think I'm a little bit too impatient for animation. And coming from me, that's saying a lot. So yeah, a big shout out to all the animators there, because it's just amazing how fluid and you wouldn't think how much work is in a shot in Pixar. I mean, it's not surprising that it takes weeks sometimes for just a simple reaction shot, because there's so much involved there, because it has to feel real, like a person having an emotion. And this is, it's just amazing. Are you going to do more comps in the future? You mean comps in terms of competitions or game jams in general, or the compo in Ludum Dare, or just compositings for 3D animation overlaid on top of live action video? I don't think that this is what you meant. Great question. So I'm assuming it's for game competitions overall, right? Compo where you have 2 people or more working on the game. Okay, this clears it up. Maybe I want to do a collaboration down the line sometime. The downside to this is because I'm used to doing things alone, I've become spoiled in a sense, because I know how I want everything to go without having to communicate how things work. The one compo that I made with Max went surprisingly well, for that there was another person involved. Apparently I've learned to compromise. No, the work with Max was great. But I think it only, at least to me, it works best if we really at the same space and really can just bounce ideas off each other, and essentially just in the same locality, because there's also so much in terms of communication that's non-verbal that you don't really see. If you say to somebody, yeah, I got this great idea, and you just laugh and say, yeah, what do you think of it? And he goes, yeah, it's great, and you know it's shit, But if you just listen to it over a microphone or something, and not are in the same room where you can read the room, essentially, you wouldn't know it. And I think, if I do another collaboration, I think I would like to try it to be physically on the same space, and I would hope that with Corona and so on, that sooner or later this is possible again. Because I realized that at a certain point I'm just repeating myself in terms of my designs, and also with the very last postmortem that I'm working on. At a certain point, I was looking at the screenplay or at the script, and I thought, you know what? It's essentially the same story. There are different things that changed, and I really try to emphasize those, that it's not the same old story again, where it's like it's like a Columbo movie where, you know, okay, it got this pretty strict formula and the rest is just details. You know how it's going to be played out, and I don't think that this is too interesting in the long run. I think so. This is why I try to change things, or to force myself into different directions to make my postmortems more interesting, also my games more interesting. And I feel that collaboration with someone else, or maybe a group, I don't know, but I really should push myself to not try to do everything myself. But then again, I just love this rush of adrenaline and endorphin when you think, oh my god, I did it, somehow it works, and I made everything myself. I know it's a little bit self-centered, but it really gives me great joy when I know, and with a sweat on my brow, I made this. So yeah, there you go. Given that Max had a cameo in the last postmortem, you're probably still on speaking terms. Yes, we're still on speaking terms, and I speak with him just mostly through my lawyer, but sometimes with direct face contact, and sometimes it's not just curses and expletives, so we're good. No, joking aside, everything is fine there. A collab with Connie might be nice. I asked her, but she feels that she can't contribute much apart from ideas for the story. So, but maybe I can push her that we can do a game together, because I think this would be really great. But she feels she can do a lot in terms of 3D modeling and texturing, because she also studied 3D animation, so she's very proficient in that. Maybe she could help me with the editing, maybe, because she's a news editor at the local TV station, so she knows much more about editing than I do. But in terms of game making, maybe I should push her just a little bit more. Maybe this could be interesting. She needs to get parts in the postmortem, though, of course, and she's definitely up for that. And she today we already filmed the pickup shot where I didn't have a reaction shot of her during the game jam, so she's all for that. So, and she also, of course, will show up in the mystical Ludum Dare 42 documentary quite substantially. Oh yeah, get her on board for a compo. Yes, I think. Again, the other downside that I have with compos is that, to me, they just take too long. It's 2 days. I can give 100% as far as I'm able to, but with 3 days, it really was taking a toll on me, and I thought, said in private to Max, let's not do this again, because it was just too straining on me. But you never know. I said I will probably never do streaming because I don't have anything interesting to say each week, and look at this, here we are. I still don't have anything interesting to say, but we're still here. And I didn't prepare anything for Ludum Dare 47 so far, and I've been already streaming for almost 2 hours now, and I'm substantially dehydrated. So, unicorn, let's all have a sip of water. Wow, I was thirsty apparently. Okay, now let's try to get back to where I was before, and that was deleting things. So, like I said, I will just start deleting things there. Delete again. Do I get a warning? Yes, of course I get a warning. Don't show this message again. So I might have just shot myself in the foot there by deleting all this. So will I keep object destructible? No. Object pickup, I will keep it. By the way, in terms of game maker, it's like it's not really object based, but it's not entirely just functional or like basic. Essentially, it's like it's a 3D game. Like it's an object based language, like Doom is a 3D game. It's not quite 3D, but you can make it sufficiently 3D. And what I mean by this is, it's not really, you don't have classes of objects or anything, but you can have inheritance. For example, here I got my pickup object. Where do I have it? Here. And Well, apparently it has no parents, and well, this was a bad example. I got here my collider object. Okay, this might be better. So there's my collider object, and it has two other objects as children, and this is the object player and the object RAM, and apparently also other objects that I just deleted. So, and those of course can inherit, and this is why I'm using essentially abstract-ish objects. For example, here, which pickup or zone, usually used, they are in all caps. For example, zone here is not used itself, but the object goal zone is a child of it and inherits pretty much all the events which are non-existent here. So yeah, essentially it's just the cool thing about this is if I get a collision, then I can just check if something is a collider, and even if it's a child of a collider in I don't know how many generations down below, it still will be a collider. So I don't have to check for each individual object if there is a collision, only for if there is a collision between two colliders and so on. So this is how I do things. Okay, the object RAM. Let's zoom in there again. I'm sorry if you're getting nauseated from my zooming in and out. I apologize. So the object RAM can go. The object player, let's keep it in there. Pickup, goal zone can go. So I just have a zone here and a pickup. So as for the rooms, I just keep game 1 in. And there's the fonts, big, huge, medium, small. Let's keep the fonts. I won't be needing the script. As sounds and music, they all can go. Music, I keep the folder there, but now it's empty. The tile sets, well, I keep the tile sets. Visual effects, not needing them. Obstacles, not needing them. Helpers, I will be needing them. Well, not the goal zone, but just the zone. Items, no items now. The RAM, nope. Environment, background. Well, the tiles, maybe the tiles are a need for the tile set, so I just keep the tile set there. As for the player, just have front walk and idle and maybe dead. Well, hit, you know what, let's keep hit, but happy is not so important, so just walk, hit, idle and dead. I think this is most important, or what I would assume is common among most top-down games. UI, probably won't need this, and cards, the title card and the end card. So I've ripped out quite a lot. This probably won't compile. So let's have a closer look at the individual objects. So first I start here with my control for initialization and take everything out that I won't need to have initialized. Wonderful. Okay, there has been something going on in the chat by Sorceress, and says, oh, I got it. Connie could be a news reporter doing her own coverage of the game making weekend. This would be fun. Maybe we should give her a hat where it says press there under the hat ribbon, and she got a news reporter, journalist notepad. And then she's just reporting on me live, and everything is in the style of a 1930s headline. Breaking news! Madman kills himself trying to make a board game. Board game. Maybe for a bit this could be funny. Okay, so what don't I need here? For example, I got here my color scheme set up here right in front, so that if I need something that's dark blue or light green, actually it would have been better to have something color dark 1, color dark 2, so that I could change the colors, because should I decide that something is that I don't need yellow but I want to make it green, well, in the code it would still be called color light yellow. So you know what, let's kill this. I got here even my enumeration, which apparently is commented out, so I keep it as it is. And the next thing, you know what, we can also keep the input control. Well, there's a little fly there. And the game control, because those will be referenced pretty much throughout by my other entities there. So this is important that those are globals. So let's have a look at the input control then. The input control just says up, left, down, right, dash, health, space, next, and quit. So probably won't be using the key next here. Probably space. Well, let's keep the space, and health and dash. Probably won't be using that one. So all we got is, well, yeah, let's the space also. So all we keep is the movement and a quit key. And is next, false, is dash, is up, down, left, right, is health, and is space. So those are just set here in the step event. So those I can clean out. So if check pressed F1, oh, those are still my debugging things. Okay, so if you press F1 or F2, you can actually, in the final build, apparently, I never took this out, you can change the behavior of the RAM. This is interesting. Okay, so it's still called debug. So I can next, health, quit. Yeah, let's keep the quit key, down, up, left, right, and that's it. So this is just the basic movement here that we keep in the input control. Wonderful. And now let's have a look at the game control, because this apparently is more specific to the game. So we got here the game state: init, title once, waiting for next level, story, intro, ending once, in-game once, level 1 once, and so on and so forth. So you know what? I will just keep the init, title once, and in-game once. By the way, if you're curious about what the once means, this is just the first step when we are transitioning over into a new state in the state machine. For some reason I went with once, so that I know that this state only runs once. For example, if you switch from the title screen to the in-game, then it doesn't switch from the state game state title to game state in-game, but it first switches from game state title to game state in-game once, and inside this in-game once it does everything that just needs to be run once, and then it goes to in-game where it just loops in the state of in-game. Oh, by the way, Chaim says hopefully the theme isn't garbage. Oh my god, it will be garbage. I'm already have for myself tried to steal my expectations that they probably won't be disappointed. So just keep the init state and maybe the quit state, and everything else in the game state I need to do differently. So the levels queue, I probably won't need the levels queue. Maybe I want to keep it in. You know what? I could do this again should I need to. Then of course this is the succession of levels there. I can take this out. The room title is the title, room and title, player, well, RAM is no one, player starting packs I don't need, do UI, do overlay, those are all things that might come in handy, but I'm not quite sure if I want to keep them in. But you know what, maybe I take them out. In the end it's much easier to recode what you really need instead of trying to make something that is there and not entirely suited to what you're trying to do to make it work. So do UI, overlay text, check win conditions, true, do cooldown init, text, continue, restart, cooldown, music current. So yeah, pretty much taking pretty much everything out there. So the game step is release build, then the colliders. Yeah, you know what, I want to keep this in. This automatically hides all the colliders if the game is the release build or the flag for release build is set. So if room is title, then title game state title once. You know what, did we have that? No, you know what, if room is room title, then some again, I'm torn between what to keep and what not to keep. So the switch state is important, so let's switch the state. Do UI, we don't have this, we don't have win conditions, game state. Yeah, just keep this as a shell. If title once, in-game once, in-game dead, RAM dead, player dead, state failed, game state failed. You know what, I just keep there game state failed, cooldown, room restart. Yeah, pretty much this entire thing can go. Level 1 once, break, waiting for next level. Yeah, everything is here pretty much handled in this thing here. So all we keep here is the switch statement that we know that we need to switch on the game state. So if do check win conditions, this can go. If do cooldown, yeah, this can pretty much all go. And probably we don't have a state that's failed. So let's just say init, if game state init, and this should be fine. So draw GUI, And now we don't got this do GUI here. So, draw color, draw set alignment, set font. This is all very important, well, not important, but this is all very helpful. So S, for example, is the space between different lines of text and so on. But yeah, I've done this so many times, I will do it again probably. If do the overlay, then we draw something in them. Yeah, I will do this. I can do this again. Let's not be sentimental and keep something that's just there, so that I think I might be saving some time. You know what, let's say do UI, this might be interesting. Do UI equals true, so we just keep do UI. And this is the game state. And I zoomed out the wrong way. And let's have a look at the player. So what do we need for the player? Okay, so the player state is much more important. Idle, active, dead, 1. You know what, let's keep them all in there. The player sprite, should we also have hit sound? Player sound hit, yeah, might be interesting to keep this in. Health packs, yeah, damage multi, HP, let's keep the HP in. The health bar would be pretty healthful. But you know what, no, I can draw the health bar again. Facing direction might be interesting. Dash speed, yeah, we don't need dashing. Walking speed, yeah, we need walking. Let's say this is dashing, well, is walking and is alive, might be interesting. Allow input, allow injuries, this might be interesting. And this get written externally, which means that when there is a collision, this was a screwdriver, when there is a collision, this will be set. So you know what, I will keep this in there because I don't know what is writing those lines. So here we got some forces. I think this is hit sprite, cooldown. Yeah, let's take this out. Health packs we don't need. Input control is important. Walking speed, initial walking speed is 0, and the initial input is no one. Dash speed max out. We don't have a dash speed. That's right. Controller, do we have a controller? Only referenced once. Yeah, this is fine. Color init is white, color hit is red, color is color init, HP, yeah. Last valid X, and do init equals true. So yeah, let's I think still much more in there than there is need for this, but I think yeah, let's keep something more in. So the step event, if do init, this also runs only once. So that we get the global input control, and the health packs we don't need. So switch case, player state active is active. Allow injuries, allow input, well, yeah, let's say allow input. Player state dead once. Sprite is player dead, show health bar. Global game state, and state is dead. So I'm just taking out pretty much anything that's not referenced anywhere else anymore. So player state dead is allow input false, player state 1. So sprite happy, we don't have sprite happy anymore, player state 1. So this was cool. So if allow input, then in the walking speed, so we will keep this in. Oh, look at this, I got Sean Spalding's collisions code there. Slightly modified, but still it's Sean's code. So dash cooldown and input is dash. So okay, if dash cooldown has to be first element in the statement, otherwise it would only be checked when the button is pressed. Okay, so the dash cooldown, I'm not using the dash cooldown. So if input is dash, so apparently this is only if we're doing dashing, and we're not allowing dashing in this template, so this can go. Oh my god, it feels so bad taking out code that I remember was pretty hard to come up with. But again, I mean, I can still come back to this and fiddle it out from some of my old backups. So movement if is dashing, no. Then movement speed is this. If movement is left, input right, up down, good. If is dashing, we're not dashing anymore. So we got here, if we're colliding with an object of space of type collider, we need to keep this in. If is health, okay, we don't need to throw an item, just if allow input, we can do this here. So grace counter, we don't have a grace period now. I probably will regret this, but let's take this out. If allow injuries, do hit. Grace counter here, merge forces. So these are the external forces that were mentioned here in the create event. So if you get hit from the outside, it writes at which velocity you got hit, so that the player instance knows how to jump back essentially. Oh, and it's Mr. Julius is also here. Hello unicorns, hello Julius. I don't have anything to drink anymore, but great that you've made it. Right now I'm just taking out anything that I don't need so that I have a top-down, essentially a bare bones top-down template for the next Ludum Dare. So ache damage, so it probably is take damage. So I don't have the damage multi by the absolute force of X plus Y minus damage. Player has taken damage. Yeah, you can take this out. Color, hit sprite, cooldown, audio, play sound, do hit is false. So essentially I'm just keeping that we are being hit and we get some forces there. And otherwise the color is the initial color if alive, and health points. I don't think we have health points anymore, so let's take this out. External force when dashing or getting hit. So yeah, this is the external force. Should I need this, I keep this in. So display, current direction, if is alive, hit sprite, cooldown, player, back, hit. What? I don't have this anymore, so I can take this one out. So if is walking or is idle. Okay, so I think we can keep this. Player back walk, player back sprite. Yeah. Okay, so I will just keep this commented out because we're not using this anymore. If hit sprite cooldown, yeah, we don't have a hit sprite cooldown anymore. So we're walking in the other direction. And I got two else's here. Oh my god, I'm not quite sure where I am right now. So I think I can take this one out. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, I love it when people don't leave the curly bracket at the end of the condition. Yeah, this is how I do code. So there we got an if, but I don't know where the ending curly bracket is because it certainly is not this one here. So probably if our direction is between smaller than this and yeah, all right, I remember that this didn't work. So we're walking up or walking down. Yeah, right now let's just keep one walking. I will figure this out when I'm in the actual game jam then. Oh my god, I will regret this so much. This video will be a hindsight terror because in 2 weeks I will be watching this video and think, why did I take this one out? But again, here we are. So if hit sprite cool, yeah, hits, we don't need the cooldown anymore. State player 1, then the player is happy. Yeah, we can take out this thing here. And of course the depth is -y. This is a good old hack. And the current dir, do we have the current dir? Probably we're not facing dir. No, I don't have a current dir anymore. So, oh, there it is. Of course, there it is. Current dir. So what is it? Variable only referenced once. Okay, so yeah, the current direction. I think I can still squeeze out. Yeah, let's have Game Jam Phil worry about this one and not Streaming Phil. And finally, draw. Set the alpha. Okay, so we're not doing a shadow here. We're drawing the sprite. And we're not drawing the health bar. We're not dashing. And we don't need anything of this. Wonderful. This is beautiful. Okay, so we're done with the player now. Let's have a look at the Object Collider, and the Object Collider itself has no events, it just exists so that some things could be its children. This is beautiful. Julius says in the chat, people who leave the open curly bracket on the same line as the condition has their own place in hell next to people who bite Kit Kat from the top. Oh, you mean through the ribs of Kit Kat. It's the only right way. Again, we got a religious fight here going on in the comments. I've had a good run. Let's be honest. I've had a good run without people bashing in their skulls about which make of compiler is the best, which text editor to use over the other, or where a curly bracket should be. My opinion is do it however you like, but don't complain if people do it differently, unless you have to work together with said people. Then come together and agree upon a code structure or nomenclature, or how you code style essentially, before doing anything, and have some kind of penal system of punishment in place should anyone deviate even by the slightest bit from it. Wonderful. So there's the object pickup. Again, I don't have anything that's any events of the object pickup, and I only have children that could be of the object pickup. So I think I can implement this should I want to. And finally, with the zone, I got here something similar. There is not much here in the zones. I can just delete this zone event. Why can't I delete it? It won't let me delete it. Oh, of course, I need to hit, of course, the yes button. Are you sure? Yes, I'm completely certain that I want to delete something. Beautiful. So yeah, there is not much still in there in our little game, apart from the title screen and the ending screen, which will end, of course, this thing here that is just called Game 1. And you all look at this, it still says LD46, but I ran out of space apparently. Yeah, and I didn't have time to make it any more pretty because I was running out of time. Mr. Julius says, well, my language is Python, so I have a semicolon and not the curly brackets in code. Okay, so the colliders are there, the assets, I can... Well, is there anything on the assets layer? Apparently there is nothing on the assets layer. The instances, of course, there should be much more. And it's only the player. This is good. Tiles. This also makes sense that there are tiles on the tile layer, but I think I can delete all the tiles there on the tile layer. How do I do this? Yeah, like this. And let's give the room a different background color because the white here is a little bit hard on my eyes. Where was this? By the way, I hope the music is not distracting or annoying in the background. So room settings, viewports and cameras, viewport 0, viewport enabled, follow player object. Yeah, this is something that we want to keep. But where, how do I decide? Oh, of course, probably in background is where I can specify the background. So let's pick a dark gray as our background color. So this looks like, yeah, it could be some kind of prototyping room. So I also will just keep some of the colliders that I can just copy and paste them if necessary for all the different angles there and corners. Yeah, I think this should help me, and now I take them all out there, the other ones that are remaining. Can I select multiple? Of course I can select multiple. Yeah, cool. Next one, assets, colliders, and tiles number 1. So yeah, got pretty much everything in here. Let's take my player character and put it in the middle because I'm trying to be super thorough and organized here. So yeah, this is our empty game. It's called just Room Game 1, and the title screen and the ending screen. And because this again is supposed to become a template of some sort, I just can change here the actual images. So let's edit the image and pick a beautiful gray again, and let's zoom out. Just fill it and put here a nice text that just says title screen. How can I make this text bigger? Where do I have my text settings? This is not helpful. There, okay, they're on top. Let's go with 100. Yeah, this is good. And move the text. Commit tool changes. No. Well, apparently this is what I've wanted to. Oh well, so again, title screen. And how do I move it? No, this is what I wanted. I just picked the color of the background. There we go, title screen. Maybe this one. Yes, commit edits. Okay, so I'm moving now the entire title screen. Yeah, you can clearly see that I'm not doing a lot of image editing here inside GameMaker, but I think this is okay. It's title screen, and here the ending screen. I also edit, and let's give this some kind of, that we know that it's a different screen, maybe some kind of orange. I like this yellowy orange. And like this. And say in the same gray. And screen. Screen. There we go. Okay, this is good. This is helpful. This is nice. So we got our initial screen here, and what is happening on the initial screen, it just got this one instance, and this one instance is the control instance, and the control init instance says, let's set all the variables there, or all the constants. Create a global input control, a global game control, and go to the next room, whatever it is, and the next room is the title screen. And from there, let's have a look at this. The game should of course be persistent. Yes, this is important, so that it carries across rooms. Chaim says the GameMaker image editor isn't the best. Yeah, it is not. At least it has improved somewhat from the last time, from GameMaker 1. But yeah, I'm still using Photoshop because I'm just the fastest in Photoshop. And if I recall correctly, Sorceress says the code is allowed as long as it's declared. Dance Vidania, Doarish is having pre-made code allowed for LD. And yes, a sorceress said it's okay if you also distribute it with your source code. So in the compo you can use stuff from someone else if you declare it, and you don't have to open source your game. You also have more time, and you can work in teams. And as for me, yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to give myself a little bit of a help, that I don't have to start over from scratch each and every time, because I've written essentially the same code over and over, and most of the time I just come to old Ludum Dare games and then just again copy out a section. And so at least this time I want to avoid this and have this here in place, should I want to have a top-down game. Who knows? I have no idea yet. Okay, game control, the room title is room rm title and rm end. So yeah, those won't get used, but at least I got here a reference to those in the code. Room equals room title. Yeah, and to the UI, I'm just setting here the color and the font alignments and the font. Again, maybe I can just comment this out. And essentially this is pretty much it. The only thing that I have to do now is just also change the tiles here, or the images here. But you know what, maybe I keep the cat, that I just know that it's working. So we got the cat hit, front and dead. And the tiles, I mean, I can change the tiles, right? Edit image, so I'm just going to delete the tiles that I have here, because they are not important anyway. How can I zoom out? Zoom, no. Yeah, let's click this. Oh yeah, this works. Select everything and kill it all. There we go. So yeah, this is a very, very boring tile map. Sorceress says, Pixel Prophecy, didn't you have base code saved from previous jams? Well, I have the code of previous jams saved, yes. And sometimes, like with the input control or so, I just copy out certain statements there. For example, I think I've copied this step event here for my input control. But yeah, most of the time I just start from scratch, because I'm a stupid idiot and write the same code over and over again. So player input, collisions, game flow, this is, I've done so many times, and different. I mean, it's nice, it's a nice practice, but then again, it's always the same thing. So, yeah. And Mr. Julius is gifting 1 tier sub to Pixel Prophecies community. Oh, this is nice. So Lepton got tier 1 sub. So again, thank you so much. This is very nice of you. And Sorcerer says, I remember doing the same as you though, cutting down at least a latest project because the code was a bit more advanced than whatever I made before. Yeah, it's not so much stepping on the shoulders of giants, but it's stepping on the molehill you made the last time, and maybe next time you can put a molehill on the other molehill, and maybe you will see a bit further the next time, and so on. So I feel it's like this. What? Thanks, Mr. Julius. Yeah, this is so nice. Again, this is such a nice community, apart from, I would assume, the bots that stole Lepton's game code. Okay, so let's try and run this thing here and see if it indeed does compile with all those references. Title screen, look at this, it works. Of course, I can't switch to anything, but at least I got a title screen there. And yeah, should I go with, can I do it full screen? Yes, I can. Beautiful. And hit I escape. Should I hit escape, then it closes. My god, this was much faster than anticipated, which is good because I've been talking for 2 hours before getting into the details of this one. So I think, at least in terms of top-down games, I got this template set for the upcoming Ludum Dare, and I also got my, directory structure set. Just to review again, okay, I have to zoom out and then zoom in again. Please, yeah, this is the problem with zooming out and zooming in. My mouse clicks won't register where they should, so this is why I have to zoom out and zoom in again. Okay, so apparently now it works with my mouse, but up there it does not. Beautiful. So I got assets, and you know what, let's do sprites, backgrounds, and music and sounds, and let's get rid of the typo. So what else are assets? Sprites, music, sounds, and references. I think this should give me a good start. Then I get builds. Well, there's nothing in there so far. Docs, don't get any documents. I certainly don't get any files, but let's go promo. And screenshots. So I think this is my directory structure for Ludum Dare. Again, they're in the GM projects. Zoom out and zoom in. There in the GM projects, I have this template top down. Again, I might be adding a template side scroller or a template turn-based. The thing is, I don't think I have a side scroller ready so far. I have one started that is that was much more an exercise in controller mapping, where no matter what you do in the game, you can switch your controller in the game and it would update the mapping of the different controllers, at least those that I have lying around here. But probably I can't be using this for Ludum Dare because even the controller itself, it's like 1,500 lines of code of just doing all the things there. So yeah, this might be just overkill for what it is. So I might not be starting a side scroller then. And the other thing is, I haven't made a turn-based game so far, so might do this. The other thing that I've made is an inventory system in Game Maker, which was probably not the best choice, but this is the entire story of the Ludum Dare 42 postmortem that is still in production and will be for the next 40 years apparently. No, I hope I will get back to it sooner than later. And Red Hermit gifted a tier of 1 sub to Sorceress. Oh my god, you're so generous gifting subscriptions. This is really nice. Thank you, Red Hermit, and also thank you, Mr. Julius, for gifting subscriptions. By the way, I think, I'm not quite sure, I haven't followed the chat, as always, you know me, thoroughly, but Mr. Julius gifted a tier to Commander Stitch. This is so nice of you. So I got 7 subscribers now. This is amazing, even for a person like me who doesn't really understand what Twitch actually is, but I'm still trying to do Twitch, so there we go. My god, this is really nice. Yeah, talking about stuff that's really nice, where Red Hermit was giving stuff away. I'm not quite sure we still got Elite Dangerous, a code for Elite Dangerous to give away. So if you want to play Elite Dangerous, please speak up in the chat, because we still got a giveaway. And the other thing that I still haven't crossed out here on my beautiful list is the PC building simulator. So there's still a key for the PC building simulator floating out there, courtesy of Red Hermit. And Red Hermit highlighted my message. Wow, thanks. Oh, there is a highlighting message. My God, what is going on here? And Chaim even has this clapperboard there with the weird eyes. I'm completely not in the loop any longer what's happening now. But now you have to work on your Twitch, maybe some emotes. Okay, this is a wonderful cue. How to do emotes, or what emotes do you actually want to have in the chat? I'm thinking about something along the lines of unicorns, maybe. Can I do GIFs or animated emotes? Would this be possible? Unicorn flakes, of course, unicorn flakes. I've changed the channel points to unicorn flakes because this is cornflakes and unicorns. Yeah. Anyway, Discord could be improved as well. Oh, I'm too old for emotes. Yes, of course, my Discord is usually pretty quiet, because I myself am not really that much into Discord. Even on other servers, I lurk there and then just scroll through, and then I feel incredibly bad because I'm not reading everything that's going on there. So I don't have some kind of protocol or code of conduct of how I should do Discord. Like I said, I'm on some Discord servers and don't know how to do things, because I think it feels rude if I just go in there and there's a conversation going on and I just lead the last line and said, I also think that Jurassic Park is a completely overhyped piece of movie, and have no idea what else is going on. So again, this is why I don't want to do things wrong. I think this is my problem. But Pixel Prophecy on Twitch. Oh, this is me on Twitch. The clapperboard with the crazy eyes. This is nice. So Lepton says there's a Discord server, and yes, there is. Currently, it's for patrons only, but I'm looking to gradually open it up, because for me it was very important to have a very nice and welcoming and open-minded and just overall awesome community as the basis, as the foundation, and build on top of it, because I don't want to have a bunch of screaming kids who just come into any open Discord server and just start wrecking the place. You can see I'm old, because I think kids nowadays are useless. Yeah, I want to have this in place, but then I will gradually open it up to non-patrons. I've already did this in certain cases, because like I said, I just only want nice people there, and a community that essentially knows the rules and is nice to each other, because this is how I want things to be. Frank says you could open it to Twitch subscribers too. I think this is an excellent idea, and I think there's a way to automate that, and I'm absolutely certain there is a way to do automations like this, and I have absolutely no idea on how to do them. Red Hermit again went into the foray. If this is an expression, it's probably not. But let's say he stepped in before I had even a chance to say, yeah, I don't know how to do this, in terms of automating when I go live on Twitch, that there would automatically be an announcement in the announcement channel on my Discord server. And I said, yeah, for now I don't know how to do this. And for now I think I can manage to just think a quarter of an hour before that I just write, yeah, I'm going live in 15 minutes or so. But I think there is a lot that could be automated. Again, I'm much behind what the cool kids are doing in terms of what is even possible. Sometimes I watch Twitchers that I have no connection with, and this shows because their channel is just a barrage of in-jokes and things that are going off in games and in the chat, and I'm just completely at a loss what's going on. Mr. Julius says, have you ever thought about administration on Discord? Maybe Red Hermit. Actually, I have not, but this might be a good idea. You know what? Wonderful suggestion, because I trust each and every one that's currently on Discord with doing the permissions and who's invited or not, so I'm not worried about anyone trashing the server essentially. So this, you know what, this is a good idea. I think I can give Red Hermit some privileges so that he can do some experimentation with integrations, only of course if you like it. Only of course if you like it. I'm not forcing anything onto anyone if they're not all for it. But Red Hermit says, I would be happy to volunteer sometime and help out. Oh, this is amazing. So I will probably get back to you very soon, probably sometime in next week. I'm having a little bit of a time problem now. Well, I don't have a time problem. The clock is having a problem with me. I think I will bring it to a close now, sooner than later. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours and I've been preparing for the LD Jam for like half an hour, and the rest was just praising Disco Elysium and talking about how I did a large format photography and then somehow managed to wrap around to doing video. But last shout out to Elite Dangerous and PC Building Simulator. If not, it just goes onto the pile, and I will bug you the next week with those keys, and I will try not to post them directly into the chat like a dumbass, because, well, maybe I am one, so this is what I did. Red Hermit says, thanks for the great stream. Yeah, thank you all. 14 viewers. My God, this is, again, since I'm just talking into the void there and not really something of much interest or content to a lot of people, I really appreciate anyone and everyone who is watching me, or at least listening to me in some long forgotten tab in their browser, just yap along about stuff that I've been doing and my interests and so on and so forth. I really appreciate it that you spent some time with me on this beautiful Sunday. Sorceress, we're almost a house party. Yes, which means bring out your corona masks. And Cursibu says bye. Bye, Cursibu. And Frank says some interesting things were said. Oh, thank you. God, I'm glad that I just didn't spew nonsense for 2 hours. Red Hermit says, are you doing a stream next weekend, or will you take the weekend off to take care of personal stuff prior to the LD Jam weekend? Essentially, yes. Good, thanks for the cue. Essentially, this is, I think, what I'll be doing. I'm not quite sure. Maybe there will be a stream, maybe not. I will inform you accordingly on Twitter beforehand, should things change. I also did an announcement on my Pixel Prophecy, not Ludum Dare channel. My God, I'm so zoned out already. On the YouTube channel of Pixel Prophecy, I did a social post there because YouTube was urging me to do more social posts. So this is why I announced my stream also there. So either way, I will announce it before. A couple of days before, whether I do one or not, because like I said, I'm not sure, and maybe it might be a good idea to collect my energies and just gather strength for the weekend and the weeks that are ahead. Wait, there's no commands. There is no commands on my Boomer Prophecy. I'm so old. I have no commands possible in my Twitch chat. I think this is what this is coming down to. I've come to this way too late, and I'm way behind the curve. So please let me know. Give me just something that I can research what are commands and what they could do. And Red Hermit says, understandable if you take a break from streaming with the demands of the LD Jam, etc. Like I said, I don't know yet. Again, I'm looking forward to what the week has in for me. Like I said, things at work are a little bit in the flow right now, and I've been doing things that I didn't do before or wasn't looking forward to or never expected to be doing for now. In different regards. On one hand, of course, it's great, more responsibility. On the other hand, it's more stress at work. But either way, Sorcerer says a rest week to gather your strength for the jam. It might be a good idea. Who knows? Okay, what have I learned from this stream? As always, I have learned things from the stream. One thing is maybe have someone also do the administration on my Discord, especially if I'm not too good at it. And the other thing is look at commands. Is this commands on this, what do you young people call it? A Twitch chat. A chat. Am I saying this correctly? Commands on the chat. Beautiful. Idea for next project, Pixel Prophecy Discord bot. Okay, good. Also goes on my list, Discord bot. I had someone from the community volunteer to do a Discord bot, and I'm not quite sure if this one is still active or it never got out of beta, because not a lot of projects get out of beta. But I think we had one, and I had looked into doing one, but then I ran out of ideas and some other thing came up. Either way, Discord bots could only be more fun. Some people have Twitch bots too. Idea for me, I will try to make it in Python. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know you can do Twitch bots in Python. I thought you had to drive up to the Twitch or to the Discord headquarter and request with form B83, the blue form, not the red one, and have a request to their API, and maybe they will send you a COBOL programmer who does the integration at your PDP 11, and then you might communicate with Fortran and so on and so forth. I might be out of the loop, but it's great that you can also do it in Python. Okay, 2 hours 40 minutes. There's a Twitch, 17 viewers. Where are the latest viewers coming from? I'm so sorry that I have to cut this incredibly interesting stream short, but I hope you will understand. Okay, many ideas for me. Next time, still got 2 keys to give away to interesting games there. And since you know me, I don't know how to end things. Maybe I should have switched back to this full camera and not you looking at the boring gray desktop that I have. Hi, it's me again, just in big. You know me that I don't know how to bring things to an end. So all I need is a deadline probably, and this is it. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being part of the community, for chatting, and for your nice ideas that Boomer Phil can look into it, what the young people are doing. Is this a TikTok we're having now? Am I doing TikTok right? Yes. And maybe a 24-hour marathon stream one day. Oh my god. And Red Hermit says farewell, have a great week. And I can only second this. Finger onto the right button and I switch over to the right slide. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for dropping by, for your ideas, inspirations, and for overall being part of a great community. See you next week, or maybe the week thereafter. No, there's Ludum Dare. See you sometime soon. I don't know. I'm on Twitter, so I'll be talking trash on Twitter as always. So see you around and have a great week, and may the unicorns bless you with their unicorn flakes. Yeah, that should do. Bye.